Every year when we take one of these to the market, people will look in the baskets and see this guy and go, oh, this one's cross-pollinated. I want to talk today about why that is not the case, at least not from our farm. It's possible, but it didn't happen here on our farm. So squash plants have what's called a male flower and a female flower. So the female flower always starts out connected to the end of a fruit. The male flower is just on a stem. It's not connected to anything. So let's pretend this green zucchini represents the plant that the green zucchini grows on. It doesn't represent a zucchini, it represents the plant. So let's say there's a male flower on this plant. This golden zucchini represents the plant that the golden zucchini grew on, okay? So there's a male flower here, there's a female flower on the end of the golden zucchini. If a bumblebee or a honeybee or whatever else comes to this male flower and then visits this female flower and all it's buzzing around and hitting all the flowers, it's taken male DNA from this flower and deposited it in this female flower. Now we have the potential for the cross-pollination, but that's not going to change this fruit that's attached to this flower. It's going to change the seeds inside this fruit. So you could think of this fruit like an egg. This fruit is not the offspring. This fruit contains the offspring. If we were to raise this fruit all the way, get it really big, let it mature, take the seeds, save them, and plant those seeds, then we could potentially see this, because we could potentially have the DNA from this one, the DNA for this one, and they combine to make this guy. So this guy might be cross-pollinated, but that's only true if this plant was a cross-pollination from the seed farm. We're going to put this into maybe a little bit simpler terms by talking about animals. Animals have a breeding program that's maybe a little bit closer to humans, and so it makes a little bit more sense. We can grasp it better in our mind. So in this case, our rooster carries the DNA for a blue egg. Obviously, the rooster doesn't lay eggs, but he carries the gene for a blue egg. Some of the hens in our flock have the genes for a brown egg. Now, we have a mixed breeding flock, so they're not all this color, but some of them are this color. So if this rooster, carrying the gene for the blue egg, mates with this chicken with the gene for a brown egg, we don't see that this egg color changes. She doesn't just start to lay a blue egg. None of her other eggs will be blue. Her eggs will not change. Her eggs will still look like this. That is because this egg is not the offspring. This egg contains the offspring. So if we took this egg, put it in the incubator, raised it, it's a female, it grows up, it starts to lay eggs. Now it's got both the DNA, and now you're going to get an egg that's kind of between the two colors. So that's the same thing that we're looking at here. This squash is not the offspring of the cross. This squash contains the offspring of the cross, which could result in this if this one and that one have been cross-pollinated. So the cross-pollination is not the fruit this year. The cross-pollination is the fruit when you go back and plant those seeds.